So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about anabolics, PEDs, steroids, gear, cycles, juice. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes young lifters make when they want to get into using anabolics. Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so all the content that I put out comes straight to you and you can enjoy great bodybuilding content. Now, at my age, I'm 47 years old, and I've been around bodybuilding in some form or fashion since I'm 15 years old, right? And I kind of have seen it all by this point. I've seen guys take a tremendous amount that is worthless, and I've seen guys that want to use something and they are scared shitless to use, 10 milligrams of Anavar. And I'm not kidding. Like, I've seen that. But what I'm going to discuss is the four biggest mistakes young lifters make when they're jumping into anabolics. And when I say anabolics, I'm not going to talk about growth. I'm not going to talk about insulin. I'm not going to talk about IGF. That's all like for advanced lifters. The first thing guys jump into is orals, is testosterone, your basic steroid cycle. So that's what we're going to discuss. So the first one is not doing your research and not talking to people that actually know what they're talking about. They kind of listen to the dummies in the gym. They have no clue. I mean, I've heard guys in the gym just say the stupidest things. I've heard one guy say that he passed out with a needle in his arm because he used Tren. I heard another guy say that he knew somebody that's heart exploded from using anabolic steroids. Avoid these morons at all costs. Okay, they are worthless. They have no knowledge. They talk just to hear themselves talk, and nothing of substance comes out of their mouth. If that's what they say about steroids, I can only imagine what they say about everything else. When you talk to somebody, make sure you speak to somebody who really knows what they're talking about, who's been around the block. If you want to watch channels or YouTube channel to find out, go to RX Muscle. Dave Palumbo is great. You can come here. I mean, I'm going to give you the basics. But I'll give you a little bit more than the basics, if you will, right? I'm not as good as Dave. I don't think anybody really is. The guy's a goddamn genius when it comes to that stuff. But, I mean, you can go to Jay Cutler's podcast. You can go to Fuad's podcast. There's so many podcasts of guys that discuss training, anabolics, diet, sleeping, everything you need, supplementation, that a young lifter would be interested in knowing. There's also plenty of books that you could read online, and there are plenty of forums that you could go on. Do your due diligence. Now, a side note of this is one thing that you really should do. You see, when I was growing up, I'm an old man compared to some of you guys out there, but when I was growing up, there were no underground labs. Everything came straight from some kind of pharmacy, whether it was a foreign pharmacy or an American pharmacy. It came straight from some kind of a pharmacy. So, the majority of it was real. But you have a lot of underground labs, and there's a lot of fake stuff that roll around. And there was a lot of fake stuff that rolled around back then too, but now it's kind of tenfold, right? Because there's a lot of underground labs, and people underdose, or people use something to supplement something else, or people just give you, grapeseed oil and say, yeah, here, it's good. I mean, it's insane. So one thing that you should do, I've said this before, DavePalumbo.com. He sells a Roid test kit. It's called Roid Test. And it's a very, very simple kit that you could use to make sure that what you're putting in your body is exactly what you want to put in your body. So how it works is you buy your stuff that you need. Let's say you have Cypionate and Deca. And then he has a chart. You open up the chart, and it's a color chart, color scheme, and has all the names of the anabolics and then colors to go with it. You take a couple of drops of, let's say, the Deca. You put it in a particular solution that the chart tells you to put the solution in, and it changes the color. Let's say it changes to green, right? Then you look, green, Deca Durable. It's good. Okay, it's actually Deca. You do the same thing with yellow and Cypionate. It changes to red. Okay, it's good. It's red. It's Cypionate, right? If it changes a color that's not on the chart or doesn't change at all, or a lot of times what will happen is you'll buy something that you think is a particular anabolic and it turns to be something else. Like, for example, a lot of times people buy Primobolan. Primobolan is probably the number one steroid that's faked or supplemented with something else. A lot of times it's supplemented with like propionate, and they'll say, and you'll put the drops in and it'll light up. Oh, it's propionate. It's not Primobolan. It's not what you wanted. At least you know that what you're putting in your body is exactly what you want to put in your body. And do your research on how much, because more is not better. More is not better at all. Okay. All you need is a little bit to get past. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want to do nothing, next to nothing. But, 500 milligrams of testosterone, 700 milligrams of testosterone is plenty. 400 milligrams of DECA to 600 milligrams of DECA, we're talking about per week, right, is plenty. You don't need any more than that, okay? Any more than that, you really could be wasting your time. And any less than that, you could also be wasting your time, because you do need some kind of decent milligrams decent amount of milligrams in order to see results, right? So do your research. That's number one. The second mistake I see a lot of young lifters making is thinking that the anabolics are going to do the work for you. Well, that's not true. The anabolics should be just another piece in your arsenal. Okay. It should be just something else along with the diet, the supplementation, your sleep, and your training. A lot of young guys think they're going to take it and they don't have to train hard. They don't have to worry about their diet. They don't have to worry about their sleeping. They're going to go out and party or whatever the hell they're going to do. And the gear will take over. The gear will give me the advances I want. Well, that's not true. Okay. First of all, you're spending your hard-earned money. Okay. And I would think that you want the most out of the money you spend. So what you want to do is train hard, get your supplementation down, get your diet right, and then add some anabolics, and it will be the perfect storm. Then you will see great progress, okay? The third thing that I see a lot of young lifters do is they don't take any anti-estrogen. Now, this could be a problem. This was a mistake I made when I was in my 20s. If you don't take an anti-estrogen, a lot of times what can happen is you get gynecomastia, or everybody knows that as bitch tits. When you get bitch tits, it's really a lump in the behind your nipple or around your nipple. Okay. It's very painful and it looks horrible. If you don't take care of it, it looks horrible. Once it sets in, there's no way around getting rid of it with the exception of surgery. That's it. Like, I remember I had it because I didn't use anti-estrogen. I was in my 20s and I would come off the gear and it would go down a little bit. I'd be like, oh, okay, I guess it's going away because I didn't know any better. But then as soon as I did my next cycle, it inflamed like that, worse than it did the last time. So it got to the point that I had to have both removed. And I went to a doctor who did one year, one the other year. And he actually was really good. You can't even tell. You can't even see the scar or nothing like that. It's actually, he did a really good job. And then once you do that, continue to take anti-estrogens because you don't want it to happen again. I know that the odds are it's not going to happen again if you have it removed, but why take any chances? Okay. I use Arimidex. I take 1 milligram twice a week when I'm on a cycle. That's it. Right. And that's what I kind of always did. And ever since then, I never had a problem. Right. The fourth biggest mistake I see young lifters make is they don't take a post-cycle therapy. They don't take post-cycle therapy and they just come off cold turkey. Now, I know when you're a young man, your body bounces back quick. But if you don't take post-cycle therapy, what happens is your testosterone level will crash. You're taking testosterone in, and your body is smart enough to realize you're taking testosterone in. So it stops producing its own testosterone, or it slows down very much. Okay. And once you come off the gear, it's still in your system. If you're using a slow acting testosterone like Cypionate or Sustanon or any anti, once you come off the gear, it's out of your system in 3 to 4 weeks. Your testosterone level is not going to jump back up that quick. It's not. And then you're going to crash. Okay. You're going to lose the gains you made because your test level is going to be down to nothing. Right. You're not going to be able to have sex because, your winky is not going to work. You're going to have no sex drive. You're going to feel lethargic. You're not going to want to go to the gym. It is horrible. And you literally wasted all the time doing that cycle. Buy your HCG, buy your Clomid, buy your Novadex, and do a post-cycle therapy for like 6 weeks when you come off. And believe me, it'll help tremendously. In my experience, the strongest, the best pumps, and not the best pumps came after dieting, after a contest. But The strongest I've ever been in lifting was during my post-cycle therapy, because you still have your testosterone level high because it's still in your system in that 3 or 4 weeks, and you're using HCG and Clomid, and it's increasing your natural testosterone level. Those days, those weeks that I'm on PCT, I'm always the strongest I've ever been in the gym. And then it tapers off. But then what happens is your testosterone level will finally, level off. Now, when you're a young man, that's what you want to do. When you're over 40, you might want to consider doing a TRT when you come off, because when you come off, your test levels are going to drop dramatically anyway. And even if you increase it with HCG, it's going to be increased to the point that a 40-year-old, 50-year-old man will be. I mean, let's face it. You get to a certain stage in life and your testosterone levels are just going to go down. It's natural. And that's why TRT is so popular now, because it brings it back up to an average level, probably around 500 or 600. And you feel like a 30-year-old man, right? That's basically what happens. So those are the 4 things. Look, I don't want to sit here and condone taking any kind of anabolic steroids, but we have to be real. People do this. Young kids do this. They want to be better on the football field. They want to be stronger in the gym. They want to hit the ball farther. They want to run fast. They want to be bodybuilders. They want to be powerlifters. These things are very easily attainable on the black market. So kids are going to use it. Okay. So if you're going to use it, at least do it right. Follow those 4 steps. Okay. Do your due diligence. Do your research. Speak to somebody who knows what they're talking about. All right. Make sure you put the hard work in. Along with using it, make sure you use your anti-estrogen because you don't want to have tits, and make sure you use your post-cycle therapy because you don't want to waste your money. You don't want your testosterone to go down to 0, because that's also very dangerous. All right, that's it. That's it for this video. That was actually really good. I got that done like that. I'm very proud of myself right now. So now I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to eat some food, and then tomorrow morning I'm going to take my pre-workout and hit the gym like a beast. And that's it. This is Serious and Cylinder Bodybuilding. Hit like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you soon. Later. Peace.